sent me.
Okay.
Hello, my beautiful people. How you all doing out there? No need in complaining. Of course, it gets you nowhere. It's your girl Shana, and I'm here with another show, Sunshine on Wheels, with a Z, not an S. Now, today, I want to tell you all something. I have a very special guest, and her and we are in a myositis group on Facebook. And what's interesting is that she saw me advertising being a guest on the show, and she emailed me and she wanted to share her journey. And I'm so happy to have Jasmine Barker with me. Welcome, Jasmine.
Thank you. Hey, guys.
All right. Now, let me give you just a little bit about Jasmine. Although we're going to be talking and Jasmine going to share her journey, but I'm just going to read a little snippet of her bio. Now, I already shared with you all that we are a part of a myositis group. Yes, but Jasmine was diagnosed just a year ago with mixed connective tissue disease in MDA5, which is dermatomyositis. What is it, Jasmine?
Dermatomyositis. Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Never mind. I thought polymyositis was bad. Never mind. Good grief. Okay, and you used to be a police officer and a competing athlete over a year ago. Now that you're disabled and you're assisted by a service dog for mobility and to alert to medical needs. That's awesome that you do have your medical, dog that's mobility for you. And then you share something with me that you and I have in common. You shared that my faith in Jesus has kept my mental health steady and my joy complete. In your previous hobbies, I tell you something. If you don't have him, sometimes you can go far away from him and you be lost.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you just got to fight to keep him there. So you and I agree with that. And you shared here that you have hobbies of painting, writing, has become an outlet place for the energy. You say here, I still do have, and my passion that never let up. I hope my story can encourage others too. Thank you very much, Jasmine Barker. Now,
Absolutely.
I like how you said that you can't never give up.
Yes.
So, I mean, we are warriors and we have to fight, of course, and keep on going. But that's very important because a lot of us, we like to give up, especially when it gets hard, to go and get rough. And if we fall down, we don't want to get back up because it's too hard. So I like that you say you cannot give up. I agree with you there 100%. Now, let's get into your, the disability that lives with you because you don't live with it. It lives with you. It got to put up with you. That's right. It has to put up with you just for a little bit because soon, but it just has to put up with, it has to live with you. Now, if you can share some background of your disability and the underlying cause of your condition, can you please share with us?
Of course. Yeah, so, I've always been, in my mind, very healthy. I think other people thought I was very healthy. And then in the end of 2023, I started having some weird symptoms. So not to get into too much information there, but it was like some female issues. Like I was like, am I pregnant? Is this early menopause? What is this? Well, the doctor's like, no, it's not any of those things. And they're just like, oh, you're just very stressed. Because they knew I was a police officer. And I was like, I know what stress is. I was like, something is really wrong with my physical body. I was like, I don't know what it is, but I just had that instinct. I was like, something's wrong.
Right.
And they're just like, oh, just take it easy, relax. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I tried to. And then it was May of 2024. Well, I guess a few months before that, I started having some twinges in my knees. Like both knees were really sharp pains, especially if I had kneel down. Okay. And I was like, I don't know what that is. But I mean, I wear 45 pounds of duty gear, 25 to 45 pounds, depending on what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah, so I was like, maybe it's all the gear I wear. And I was on my feet for an 8-hour work day, but then we'd have like, I was at a high school at the end of my serving as a police officer. And so like we'd have basketball games or football games. So I'd be on my feet for maybe another 4 hours after my shift. So I was like, maybe it's something to do with that. And then I also did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, just like I'm a very like energetic person, and that was a good outlet for that. But also as a police officer, I found I could keep people safer if I didn't have to grab tools off my belt, and I could control them. And like you probably can't see how I am right now, but I'm like 5'1", so I'm a little thing, and not everyone you have to calm down on the street is small. So Jiu-Jitsu helped a lot with that. So I do that. But that's a rough contact sport. So, my knee gave out. I was actually at a tournament and my knee just kind of buckled under me. And it was weird. It was like out of nowhere. And my coach was like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know. My knee just doesn't work. And then about a week after that, it was a complete, like, excruciating pain in my knee. It was like it completely tore the ACL. Doing nothing. I was like sitting on the edge of my bed and I just turned my body too fast. And, they're like, oh, the doctor's like, it must have been the jiu-jitsu. So I was like, well, I guess so. I'm pretty rough on myself. And I had surgery and I never recovered from the surgery. So they're like, give it this much time, maybe 9 to 12 months, you'll be back to running again and doing police work. So I was like, okay, but 6 months in, I was like, something is still really wrong. And they're like, it was way too much swelling. Just acting weird. And then 9 months in, I couldn't even walk right. And I was going to physical therapy. Yeah. And they're just like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, you should be passing all of our tests. You're not. And I'm like, something else is wrong with me. I was like, something else is causing this. And they're like, well, we don't know. And then my surgeon, he was like, my knee surgeon, he's like, well, let's do another surgery. And I was like, you're not touching me. I was like, yes. So I was like, I'm going to get a second opinion. So I went across my state. I'm in Missouri, and to a research hospital for an orthopedic surgeon. Yeah, and I was like, look, I think something else is wrong. I was like, can you look at my knee? And so he like picks up my knee and he's like bending it because it doesn't bend well. And he's like, do you have an autoimmune disorder? Wow. And I was like, I don't think so. No one's ever told me that. So, I was just like, well, whatever. I'm not doing more surgery, but I was like, I have no idea. And he's like, we could try to clean up scar tissue. He's like, but I'm not sure what's going on. So I didn't think much of it. I knew I couldn't be a police officer anymore. So I tried working. I tried to work in the high school as like a secretary, but I was like having trouble standing up. I was like on a cane. I would get dizzy out of nowhere. I was like, something, I'm still sick or something. I don't know. Right. And then, it was like October of 2024. I got a big butterfly rash on my face. And
I know all about it.
Yeah. So like my mom, she's an RN. And I was like, look, Mom, like I'm always in the sun and I'm Hispanic. So I have like pretty like darker skin tone not to get sunburned. And I was like, what is this? Like, it's the weirdest sunburn ever. And my mom's like, baby, that's a butterfly rash. She's like, you need an autoimmune panel. Wow. And, so I asked my primary care physician. I sent him a picture. I was like, what's this? And they're like, nope, we're running an autoimmune panel. I popped heavy positive on everything. And my doctor, she was like, I don't know what this means. She's like, but like you have, I think, multiple autoimmune disorders.
Wow. Multiple. Whoa.
Yeah. And so, I went to a rheumatologist because I couldn't get in locally for like 8 months. So I had to go like ASAP to someone. So I went to St. Louis. And the doctor there was like, I don't know what's going on. I think you have a connective tissue disease, but I don't know what it is exactly. Well, I just like tanked from there. Like I was suddenly having trouble breathing. I couldn't like control my muscles. I couldn't walk. I was falling over. I was like getting disoriented. It was like systemic weird stuff. So my mom, she shipped me off with me to go to Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota.
Okay.
And they just bombed me with every test they could do. And they're like, yeah, like something is really wrong. We don't know yet, but maybe it's lupus. And they're like, we'll start treating you like it's lupus. And I didn't respond like very well to the treatments. And they were like, we need to keep testing you because like, how those autoimmune testing goes. Like it takes a while to get to the bottom of whatever. And so yeah, eventually this summer, I went to a different research hospital, Barnes Jewish in St. Louis.
Okay.
And the doctors there, they were like, yeah, you have MDA5, it's dermatomyositis, and it's under the umbrella of undifferentiated connective tissue disease, but they think it's going to become mixed connective tissue disease eventually.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
bro, it's a lot there. Now, can you break that down for us to understand it more, much easier for us that don't know any? Like, so how does it affect your body? Just break it
Sure.
down so we can understand.
Yeah. So both of those, the undifferentiated connective tissue disease and MDA5, those are autoimmune disorders. So basically, my own immune system, for whatever reason, has decided to go on the rampage against me. And like, there's a lot of theories like what triggered that. Like, they're like, oh, you should have eaten healthier. I'm like, look, I was an elite athlete. I ate very healthy. And they're like, well, you didn't get enough sleep. I'm like, I got plenty of sleep. Like, I knew how to take care of myself. I stayed fit, all that. So like, who knows, like, what set it off? There's maybe it was a virus, maybe like, was it because of a vaccine? Like, no idea. I don't know. Some people said maybe it's genetic. Like, I've always been predisposed, like disposed. There we go, to having that. Maybe, like, no one knows, but yeah, my immune system is just freaking out, and yeah, so it started with, yeah, like I said, really vague symptoms. Like, it was like a skin rash here, and maybe I was like tired this one day, like more tired than usual, or I felt my heart kind of racing, or like I had a hot flash or something. I'm like, what is this? Like, it could have been chalked up to stress or hormones or something. Right. And then it got like more aggressive. It's like, okay, now it's like joint problems that are like pain you cannot ignore. And like, I've given birth with like no epidural, no nothing, all natural. I know what pain is. Like, I was a police officer. Yeah. I've been chalked, I've like tased, I've pepper sprayed. Like, I know what pain is. Like, it was intense. So like, you can't ignore that. And then yeah, then it turned into like mobility problems. Like, I can't run at all anymore. I can walk badly by myself, but I'm very likely to fall like after a few feet if it's uneven. So I have to have a cane, or now I have the assistance of a mobility service dog. He helps me. Yeah, and like, I've noticed, like, I get new symptoms. It seems pretty consistently every 3 months I'll have more. So yeah, I've had like loss of my hair, facial rashes. I've had like weird issues with like swallowing, vision, hearing, but it's like your entire body. The scariest to me though was heart and lungs. So like I'm hyper attuned to how my heart behaves as an athlete, and like, it started like jumping through the roof out of nowhere. And like, doctors were like, well, maybe you're having a panic attack. I'm like, that's not a panic attack. I was like, this is just like I'm like totally calm and like enjoying life and everything. It's like, it freaks out. It's usually if I'm like standing too long. Right. Well, finally, like, I saw a cardiologist. He's like, you have a dysautonomia. So yeah, basically that's like your autonomic nervous system is now malfunctioning because your immune system's damaging it. So it's like a secondary problem. Yeah, it affects like my blood pressure, my heart rate. So I have to eat like enormous amounts of salt. I actually have a pickle next to me in case I start acting weird. It's like being a diabetic, except instead of like insulin, sugar, you need salt. And so like, my service dog, he has like a special collar a friend designed for me. There's a rescue salt in it. So
wow.
Yeah.
Now, because you and we share the same group. Yeah, I can relate to where you're coming from as far as the walking short distance and then being fatigued, falling. I can get where you're coming from with that. I understand the swallowing because I've had issues where I couldn't swallow my own saliva and then have to go into the hospital because that's very scary to have that issue. And I did learn that because our hearts are muscles, we have to be careful because, of course, with these diseases, it does affect the heart as well. But you shared with me yours would affect your lungs, correct?
Yes. So yeah, with the MDA5, what I understood from my doctors at BJC, a very good rheumatologist up there, Dr. Bandari. She's like a world research leader for MDA5. But she was saying that, yeah, usually like that's the scariest thing with MD5 is it tries to damage your lungs with interstitial lung disease, which like that it's called rapid onset or rapid progression interstitial lung disease, and like you could be fine and then dead 3 months later.
Really?
So they're very careful to test me with like pulmonary function tests, walking tests. They're like, my lungs are okay right now, but they're very obsessed with monitoring them.
Right, of course. Now, hey, I can understand that. And living, as I call it, with the unknown, you may come up, you may catch some surprises along the way. Living with the unknown, as I call it. Now, here I have to ask you, what physically and emotionally preparated you? Did you go through, to help you with this? So, what has helped you to get through what you're going through right now? Because I know it's not going to always be easy. We're going to have some good days. We're going to have some bad days. But how did you prepare yourself physically and emotionally to get to where you are right now?
So I'm very blessed that I was in good physical condition before this occurred because I was blindsided. I had no idea. I think if you would have told me 3 years ago I was going to be disabled, I would have been freaking out. I was like not ready for that at all. But like I was strangely at peace with everything that happened because I felt like the Lord almost like prepared me for that at like a level that like I didn't understand.
Right.
And yeah, I think part of that was my physical body was in good condition, so I was ready to fight what was coming. Because like every day, like I could be spending the day pretty relaxed, like mostly on the couch doing a couple like light chores, and I'll feel like I ran a 5K, and it's just because it's that hard to live. And then like so that's interesting for me is like I was physically ready, but there's definitely an element of grief that came with it, and I didn't expect that. And I think that my faith is what prepared me to overcome that instead of becoming entrenched in it, because I love running. I love like fighting in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was always active and doing something. And like, yeah, if it wasn't for my faith to help me process, like, you still have a purpose despite that, I would not have been ready.
I agree with you there, because if you would have told me, okay, almost 19 years ago, 18 years ago, that I was going to wake up and have a muscle disease and be in a wheelchair, I would have said, no, not me. You wouldn't be able to tell me that, and I wouldn't believe it. But I tell you, it prepares you. It prepares you to get stronger and to know that you're going to be all right. And as you say, you can't quit. You have to keep going. You cannot stop. Now, I have to ask you, how did you prepare yourself to interact with the world? Because we don't get everything our way. We may have a ramp here, but we may not have a ramp there. You may have people who look at you and tell you, you don't look like you have a disability. And I've experienced that. And I had to tell someone, well, what does a disability look like? I didn't know a disability had a look. So how did you prepare yourself for the world, to interact with the world?
That's been pretty eye-opening because, I definitely look at the world differently now. Like you said, the accessibility, like some places, like, they're not really ADA certified. Like there's not a parking spot where it should be. And that's hard. Like, as like to park your car for farther away. I'm like, wow, like this is something I wouldn't have thought about before. Or like, if you go into a restroom, I have a large breed service dog. He's a German Shepherd. And there's like usually one handicap stall. And for some reason, that's everyone, even that's not disabled's favorite one to go into. And it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to fit a German Shepherd in a normal stall. So I'm like, wow, like gotta wait on this. But I've definitely seen like people look at me differently. And like I look in decent physical condition. And some days I have better days than others. And I can like go to church most of the time. And people will look at me, they're like, oh, like you look like you're feeling better. And like that hurts because like I'm like, I do not feel good right now. So I'm just like, I know they mean well, but I've kind of learned just to have grace with, comments like that, because like they have no understanding. Like, like you said, like the myositis, it's such a strange family of diseases and it's hard for people to relate.
Absolutely. I mean, I've gotten told, "Oh, you look so much better now." Well, how did I look before? Thank you. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing that. You know, but I mean, the people that have a tough skin, the world does, and
Yes.
like you say, just give grace and just
Yes.
let it go at this point because it's too much. We don't need that much stress on us anyway. Just give
Yes.
grace along the way. Now, also, have you ever experienced anger or frustration due to your limitations?
So I think
That-
that was definitely, yeah, that was definitely part of my grief process. I feel like I went through my grief process earlier than like my husband and my son did about my illness because I don't know, I just can't explain it. Like I had an instinct when I tore my ACL. I was like, this is permanent. Like this isn't a temporary. Like everyone's like, oh, it's an injury, it's a sports injury, and I'm like, no, like something else. So like I went through that grief pretty much as soon as I injured my knee to when I wasn't healing from surgery in those first like 6 to 9 months, even
Okay.
before the autoimmune stuff was found. And so there was definitely anger there and frustration because like, I want to move. Like, I wanted to run, I want to jog, and I'd like try those things and I'd
Right.
fall down or I'd hurt my knee more or something. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. And then there was kind of another wave of it, like more recently with like the dysautonomia. I have a son, he's 9,
Okay.
and yeah, so like, I gotta make dinner, I gotta get him ready for school, and just the most basic things, like, I'm like, why can't I do this simple thing like the dishes right
Right.
now, or like cook something in a frying pan for 5 minutes? And you're just like, you get frustrated with your body.
Yes. And
And yeah, like, yeah, go ahead.
well, I wanted to say that is at this point it's normal to us, and we've gotten used to having to change things around a little bit for us, but it is a little frustrating at times when you can't do that one thing that you want to do.
Yes.
It is. It is very frustrating. And if you want to add on more to it, you can.
Sure. Yeah, that's been kind of eye opening too. Is like, I used to do a lot with my son. Yeah, he's 9. He looks just like my husband, but he acts just like me. So like high energy kid. Like he was doing Brazilian jiu jitsu with me. We'd go hiking, and like there was a lot of anger towards myself and not being able to do those things with him because like you kind of feel like a failure as a mom because like they have this idea about who you are, and you do too, and then you can't do those things, and you're like, yeah, you're angry at yourself for not being able to do them.
Oh my, you are absolutely right, Jasmine, because I can honestly say that I was angry with myself and I just knew that I was the worst mom in the world. I couldn't go to field trips. I couldn't go to different places. They couldn't do after school programs because I don't have the transportation. I can't drive to. So I felt like I was the worst parent in the world. So I can relate with you there, but thank God I've overcome that. But I can relate. Yes, it does make you feel some type of way, especially when it comes to your babies or your son. You want to do those things, and you have
Yes.
high expectations of yourself to be the best parent you can be. And then you had
Absolutely.
this one little snippet, and it just makes all go. "Ugh." But
Yeah.
yeah, now, because you have your son, can I ask you a question? Because with my son and daughter, to be honest with you, we had to do therapy. Like they had to do therapy, and then we did group therapy together. Because when I went into the hospital to have the high dosage of chemotherapy and the cytoxin, I left with hair. I came back home with no hair.
Oh wow.
And I know if it was damaging to me, I know what it could have done to my children. So one way that we were able to help get through things is that we had to do therapy and things like that. Now, do your son share with you if he's feeling some type of way, or he's just proud to be with his mom and that's it and that's all?
That's really interesting you bring that up because that was pretty surprising to me too. Like I knew like how I was firsthand experiencing it, and I assumed my husband was gonna have a lot of like grief overcoming like the change in his wife. But my son, yeah, we're going to counseling for him right now because like there was a whole grief process that hit him like a freight train. And like I noticed, like first, like I mean, he's usually a cheerful, bubbly, happy-go-lucky guy, always chattering, and all of a sudden he got real quiet and withdrawn, and like he would just like the smallest little frustration he'd blow up, and that was like so out of character. And you know me, like being a previous police officer, like I'd get on him like, "What's like? Why are you doing this?" And he just like started crying, and I'm like, that wasn't characteristic either. Where I grabbed him, I was like, "What's going on?" And you know, he's like, "You're never gonna run again," or he's like, "The medicine isn't working," and I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "This is way bigger than I expected." And like I didn't realize, you know, in a kid's mind, like you're sick, you go to the doctor, they give you medicine, you're better in a few days. Well, with autoimmune disorders, like you're sick sometimes for life, and you might have to switch medicines every few weeks, months, years, and that's confusing for a kid, especially when your parent might even be getting worse, not better.
Yeah, we can relate there again because although we're not in our children's mind, but we can see how they interact compared to before the
Yeah.
disability, so we can see those things. But I think it's amazing. I think it's a blessing that he is going to, do counseling because it's important. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I still do therapy till this day every Thursday because sometimes I am good and sometimes I'm not good. And it's normal. It's okay to be that way. But I still do think that it's important that you talk and share with others to get it off of your chest, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if you keep that in yourself, it's so damaging to you and
Oh,
others.
yes, absolutely. I agree with you there. Now, you stated that you have your mom, your husband, and your son. What do your support team look like to you, and how do they make you feel? Your support, because we need support. It's very important that we do have it. So, what do your support team looks like?
So definitely the MVP of my team is my service dog because like he sees the good, the bad, the ugly. He's with me 24/7. Like right now, he's at my feet, just sleeping. Yeah, but like he sleeps on the floor next to me on the bed. Like anywhere I drive, anywhere I go, he's right there, and like he's always monitoring me. Like at home, he doesn't wear his vest or anything, but he's still on duty in his mind. And I didn't train him to do that. He's just like, I'm gonna watch you. But I'm really blessed by him, and I mean, like he's given me so much freedom back, being able to, have his assistance.
Okay.
But also having him like always with such care, like it's like, I'm not fighting this alone. So he's a big encourager to me too. My husband and my son, they've been amazing, and they've had to go through their own grief process. But that was just so eye-opening to me of like, how much they cared. And when people do make comments like, "Oh, are you feeling better? Like you look better," like they look at each other like she's not. Like they know what's really going on because they live with me, and they're like, "She's struggling," but I mean, they have so much patience with me when like I gotta go lay down. Like they give me that time, and that's been such a gift. And then my mom, my dad, my father-in-law, they've been helping with such like day-to-day needs. Like if I need someone to watch Ezra because I can't even function today. I just need to lay down. My mom or dad will come get him. My father-in-law, like, as you know, these illnesses are not cheap, and he's been footing the bills on like all the medication, the hospital stays, the traveling to those. And also our church, they've been just like, they've provided meals for us. Just like so much prayer, and someone, he wouldn't want me to say his name out there, but we were in an apartment for a little while because we had to sell our house because like we went from 2 incomes to 1, and he was paying for our rent for a year, and like he was gonna do that. He just walked up to us and was like, "I want to do this for you guys." So I mean, it's been amazing to see like every need met in a very scary situation. I think the Lord provided all that to his people.
Wow, I tell you, and he's amazing, and he is so good to us. Yes, it's, and I know those things that your support team has provided to you help ease your mind and take some of your stress away because stress is not good for us. And the fact that you have your parents, your church family, your husband, your service dog, as well as your in-law, your father-in-law, to step up and to step in, it has to be a great relief.
Absolutely.
And it's truly a blessing. Now, what advice would you give to your younger self?
So I think like my younger self could have been like 3 years ago. I think I
Mm-hmm.
could have seen her just absolutely panicking, depression, shut down. So it's been amazing to me that that's not what happened. But I think I would have told her, I was like, you know that you're supposed to live for faith, and you know that Jesus can carry you through anything. I was like, but you need to prepare yourself to live that out day in and day out in a way that maybe doesn't look like how you expected. Like I was a police officer, I was like, I live to serve, this is what I do. So in my mind, this is what my day to day looks like. But sometimes that's not the plan going forward. And even if it's a very difficult situation, I tell her, like, you could still be used by God, even if it doesn't look how you expected.
Absolutely. And keep going and keep fighting. And know there's purpose. He has purpose in all of this. And you may
Absolutely.
not understand it now, but he'll get you through it. That's right, Jasmine. That's how we got to live. That's how we got to think. Thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing that. Now, what message of encouragement would you share with maybe someone living with a disability or not? What encouragement can you give someone? Because right about now, we all need encouragement. What encouragement you would like to share with everyone?
Absolutely. So, yeah, I don't know if you're watching this and you have a disability, and like me, it just completely blindsided you, or maybe you've been fighting it since birth, or maybe it came on slowly and you knew it was happening, or maybe you're a caregiver to someone, you love someone with a disability, or you have a family member, friend. I would just encourage you to realize that like your physical condition doesn't define who you are, whether that's health or illness, a chronic condition, acute temporary one. Like that's not who you are, and you have a purpose, outside of the condition of your physical body. And like everything we go through, health, illness, I think it's a season. And I think every season can be used to honor God. And I just encourage you, no matter what season you find yourself in, seek to honor him, even if it looks different than what you had hoped or expected. And just step into that courageously,
Mm.
willingly.
Amen. I agree with that 100%. And I want to first tell you before I let you go, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your story. And to be honest with you, a lot of people are not aware of the different myositis diseases that's out there. A lot
Yeah.
of people are not aware of how it affects a person's body. And of course, there's no cure for it. We living with the unknown. And sometimes you do get frustrated, mad, angry, and bitter, but you got to keep on going. But before I let you go, I want to tell you I truly appreciate you, Jasmine,
Thank
because
you.
although I've been doing this show, I've only you make the second guess that I can relate to, and we share some of the same similars as far as living with these muscle diseases or myositis diseases. We
Yeah.
share some of the same things, and it's very encouraging and it's uplifting, especially for me to know that, of course, I know we have the group and I'm not alone, but it is so encouraging to know that it's someone else out there that may be going through what I'm going through, but they're willing to share their story. They're willing to help someone else out along the way, and they're not ashamed and they're not living in fear because of it. And you are showing us that you can still live your life. You may have good days, you may have bad days, but it's up to you how you do it. And I want to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, Jasmine.
Absolutely. And thank you too for this opportunity and having this platform that you give people.
Thank you very much. Now, before I let you go, how can someone out there in the world of social media reach out to you?
Sure. So yeah, you can find me on Facebook as Jasmine Barker. But I also am an artist now, so I do a lot of creating. And if you want to follow me, my artist name is Good Shepherd Designs. I'm actually wearing the logo for it here. It's like a German Shepherd. So yeah, I do when my hands will cooperate with me. I do a lot of painting, sketching, different things like that. And it's usually for the animal lovers out there. It's some kind of animal inspired art, kind of what God could teach us through animals, with
Yeah.
focusing on their passion and intensity they have.
That is right. Well, Jasmine, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I want to say once again, thank you very much. And if you feel as though you want to come on and share more to your journey, please feel to reach out. I'm always here.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Jasmine. And you have a good rest of your day.
You too. God bless you.
God bless you too, Jasmine. Thank you. All right, everyone. I want to take the time out to once again tell Jasmine, thank you very much for being a part of the show. And if you would like to be a guest, please feel free to email your girl at sunshineonwheels@gmail.com. And also, this show will be uploaded to the YouTube channel on Monday, Life of Sunshine on Wheels with a Z, not an S. I hope you all enjoyed the video and make sure you come back for more and more and more. You all have a great one. Bye.